Hello, welcome in. It's the Second Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman. This is the 3M Open recap episode. Joining me to recap it all, Greg DuCharme is here. Hello, Dr. Greg Head. Happy Sunday.
Rick, happy Sunday to you as well. What a week we witnessed. What a weekend. And I guess ultimately Mark was right.
Whoa.
I think that's what the data supports, Rick.
Right out of the gate, Mark is right.
Yes, we got to give him credit where credit's due. Kittyama, 6 under on Friday. We said, I said 8 under was I said that 7 under was too far back.
I said 9 under.
You said 9 under was too far back. Mark said anything's possible, and I guess he was right. This was incredible.
He said, "Oh, just go out there and shoot a pair of 62s. That's out there. Remember that time I walked with so-and-so?" That's what he said. Well, he was wrong. It was a 60-65 from Kittyama, not a pair of 62s en route to his victory here. But no, Mark, this is why Mark is the experienced one who has seen it all. He was absolutely right. It was an unbelievable weekend from Kittyama.
I was just I couldn't get over it watching him play. How many times he hit iron shots right at the flag. This was a very scoreable golf course this weekend. There were some moments late in the afternoon on Sunday where it got a little windy, but it was very gettable. Right. It's soft. It's receptive. So everybody's throwing darts. Everybody's hitting great shots. But what's the level of consistency on them? And for Kittyama, over the final 2 rounds, I mean, I looked at this specifically on Saturday. He hit 2 approach shots outside of 25 feet all day. One of them was a tee shot at 16 into the left bunker. He made birdie. Right. I mean, everything is inside of 25 feet. And on Sunday, I believe the number ended up being 7 for the whole weekend. So 29 of 36 holes, he's inside, his proximity is inside 25 feet. And 17 and 18 are 2 of them when he didn't need to hit it anywhere close to that. This was just remarkable.
So many places I could go with this. He picked up about 9.5 strokes on gained on approach. Here was the weekend number. So Kittyama on the weekend alone picked up 12 strokes to the field. That is 3 shots better than anybody else. So he was 3 shots better on the weekend than the next best guy, which was David Lipsky, who was 2 shots better than the third best guy, who was Taylor Montgomery, who was 2 shots better of the next best guy. So that means Kittyama's weekend was 7 shots better than the 4th best guy on the weekend.
Oh, so it basically, if this were rounds 1 and 2, you'd have Kittyama at, let's just say, 10 under.
Yeah.
Next at 7 under. Next at 5. 4th would be at 3 under par.
Yeah, that's a much better way to do it. Yes, exactly right.
Right. That would be, if that was a leaderboard after 2 rounds of a PGA Tour event, you would be you'd be shocked. You know, that's just a remarkable performance. Absolutely remarkable. And look, after we knew on Friday that somebody could go and do what he did on Saturday, go shoot 60. He does. But then you come out of the gate in round 4 and you hit it to 5 feet on 1 and make it. You hit it inside of a foot on 2, nearly hole it from the fairway. You miss the green on 3 and then chip in. And then 2 holes later at number 5, you hit it to a foot, and then 10 feet, and then 14 feet, and then 4 feet, 17 feet. This 17 feet on number 9. It was just, he was never going to make a bogey hitting it like that. And birdie opportunities on every single hole and he's inches away from going out in 28. Just few. It's a difficult thing to describe just how good that was.
Inches away from going out in 28, which is exactly what he did on Saturday. So he played the front 9 on the weekend, 28-29. That is 57 strokes. I'm showing it on YouTube right now. If you're watching, I'm sharing the scorecards, or just the front 9s of the scorecards here. This looks like you, Greg, in the Golf Club 2019, where he birdied. First off, he didn't make a bogey, obviously, and he birdied every hole throughout the weekend, right? There was not a hole that had his number. He made birdie on all of them on the front 9 this weekend.
Yeah, that's a really scary way to look at it, right? You're talking about what is that, 57?
57.
I mean, it's so good. And the back 9 on Sunday, like, he didn't really have to. He did what he had to do on the back 9. I can't imagine what that felt like playing golf from a Kurt Kittyama's perspective this weekend on that front 9. Is that like, does that feel easy? Are you upset when you don't? Do you feel like you give it the knee bend on number 2 when your wedge shot just misses? It's like it's just you're right. It's like a video game. That's the best way to describe it.
So let me back out of this for a second, because I just, we'll reset here. 65, 71, 60, 65 for Kurt Kittyama en route to a one-shot victory at 23 under. There was just a touch of stress, coming down the home stretch, Greg. 15 and 16, he made par on both of those. He bogeyed 17 and then was in the greenside bunker on 18. He had to make sure that he did not blade one into the water or anything like that. But all things considered, he played it safe. He did it smart, and he ensured victory.
Yes, it was rather interesting. On 17, he hit it to 40 feet, and that putt's it's downhill and it's into the wind. And while he's on the green, you have Sam Stevens and Jake Knap on 18. Probably, it would have been nice for them to know that Kittyama had made bogey. I'm not sure it would have changed anything for Jake Knap, but Stevens gets some bad lies and is kind of hacking it around on 18. Knap hits it in the water, which we'll get to. And so then all of a sudden, Kittyama's 3-putt becomes inconsequential. It's almost meaningless. Although you got to now go play a par 5 and you got to make a par to win instead of having bogey in play. But I like the way that he went for the green in 2. I think he took way more club than he needed to, which is a smart play. The only play in that situation. And you got a greenside bunker shot. You don't have to get it up and down. He played it brilliantly, played it perfectly. Even the shot into 17, right? You could take a 4. The one thing you can't do is come up short and hit it in the water, or go left and hit it in the water. He goes long right and ends up, honestly, he should have 2-putted. It was a very short second putt that he missed, which was kind of surprising, but he did everything he needed.
2025 has not been a very good year for Mr. Kittyama. He slumped big time, basically from the Farmers Insurance Open until really Zurich. He started to play a little bit better after the Zurich Classic. He had the T5 at the Byron Nelson. And then more recently, his last 3 starts leading into this have started to get better, Greg. We can see kind of a new rehearsal from him. We hear him talk about looking for that feel, looking for that feeling, trying to find something. Needless to say, he's found it. I guess the question will be how long you can keep it.
Yeah. Well, he kept it long enough to get a second win on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Right. So that's huge. I don't believe there's any Ryder Cup implications coming up for him unless he wins the Wyndham and wins in Memphis. And, he's got to like run the table. If that happens, then I'd change my mind. I think the real next targets for Kurt Kittyama would be getting inside that top 50. moved to 53rd in the FedEx Cup standings. You get inside that top 50, get to the BMW Championship, and then you can do what you need in the fall. If you feel like that feel is gone, you work it out in the fall. Come back next season ready to go, playing in signature events. So it really frees him up in a way. And I like how you mentioned that. How long can you keep it? Because he doesn't have to keep it for that long now. It's a very interesting thing. Maybe a little unique swing. I could see why he would be somewhat reliant on feel. There's, looks like when I watch Kurt Kittyama hit it, I feel like he's lost everything to the right and he's saving it.
Yeah.
Now, I'd love to take a closer look on in slow motion. A lot of that has to do with his follow through, and clearly he's not saving everything because it just works out. It worked too well you don't do that for 36 holes when you got a technique issue. He won the Arnold Palmer Invitational swinging the way he swings too. So this is a highly talented player who I actually, looking at his numbers, he hit really good, just like you said. And after the Zurich, he hit the ball great for a long time. And throwing a win on this, it makes sense. Like, he got the putter going and won. That's what his stat profile looks like coming in there. And he did put it all together, maybe not for the whole week, but he certainly did on the weekend.
110th in the FedEx Cup standings before the week started. Now 53rd. We need that top 50. That gets you into the Siggies. Seemingly going to play the Wyndham Championship next week. I don't take any time off now. Let's just run it and see what happens. But Kurt Kittyama has found his validation victory, going from 1 to 2 on the PGA Tour. Congrats, Kurt Kittyama. Sam Stevens finishes in solo second here. And how about this? Puts together a pretty solid weekend of his own with a pair of 66s. Sam Stevens, I find, and I'm sure we do talk about him a lot on Tuesday shows. He is a incredibly talented, pretty volatile golfer. When you start looking at his results, you don't really know what you're going to get out of him. But when he is good, it is flush out on the golf course.
Oh, it is so fun to watch. It makes me wonder, watching him today, I'm like, how? And I've watched him this year, right? We saw him at the Farmers get in the mix, and you realize how good this guy is. But I'm watching him today, like, how does this, why are we not seeing this every weekend out of him? I know it's hard, but this is a fantastic golf swing. It's simple. It's compact. It's on plane. It's just a beautiful looking golf swing. So really fun for me to watch. And then you see him come back. I love the way that he came back after that kind of slowish start. Didn't really give himself many looks early on that front nine. Makes bogey at 3 and 7, which really sets you back. It wasn't looking good. It was looking like he was going to get run over. And then he comes back with 5 birdies on the back 9 and nearly wins the thing. And looking at it now, where Kittyama finished at 23 under, and you don't birdie 18, that stings. Now it's like, if I'm 3 yards left off the tee, I make birdie at 18, I'm in a playoff, or I have a putt for eagle. Maybe I win. Just incredible the way he played, incredible the way he bounced back on the back 9. I was extremely impressed.
So Sam Stevens is an interesting case study here. 29-year-old who has played, let me get his exact number of events that he's played this year. This is event number 24. He's got 2 top 10s. He's got that runner-up finish at the Farmers like you alluded to. He's pretty secure in the FedEx Cup standings. He entered the week 44th. He is now 27th. I don't think Sam Stevens has been the 27th best golfer on the PGA Tour this year.
It's fascinating to think about, and it just tells you how one, playing a lot is good.
Yes, but
he also has now 3 top 3 finishes.
Yeah.
And that's where you get huge payoff bumps. So it's a second, a third, and a second. So that's pretty easy math. It's 600, 790 FedEx Cup points in 3 events. That's whopping. That's a huge number.
Yes. And this is not an anti-Sam Stevens sentiment. I do think the volume guys are interesting. What I would like to see is basically you take your best X number of finishes. So call it 16, 18. I don't care what you call it. But I would like to see take your best X number and see what happens.
I think Mark would like to see us just go on strokes gained total.
Oh, yeah, definitely he would.
Which, to your point, he's 64th in that category.
Yeah.
But, I like how competitive it is. I like how it matters if you finish second or tied third. Like, that's a big deal. And Rick, I think it really adds to what happens on 18 if you're Jake Knap and you're in third place alone and you got a situation on 18 where you're 3 back, right? You got to hold this. Are you going to go for it, or is there a different decision to be made? It happened a couple years ago right here on this very golf course with JT Poston. He was 3 shots clear of third. I want to say he was 3 shots back of first.
Right.
And he went for it from the rough on 18, hit it in the water, made triple, ended up tied second instead of second.
Right.
Which cost like 80 points, it cost him like 80 points.
I remember we talked about that. That was it's a pretty stupid play. There was just no upside in that.
I don't remember exactly if he was 2 back or 3.
I thought you described it I thought that's what it was. It was like he was in such an awkward spot. He was obviously not going to win the golf tournament, and he would have to make a disaster to fall back, and he made the disaster.
Right. It's like you needed to hold that.
Right.
But those kind of things become really important when it's not based on strokes gained total. Like honestly, I was looking at this, Rick. 2 players moved from outside the top 70 to inside this week.
Wow.
That's it. And I want to look more into this so I can, have some better numbers to share. But it feels like since we've gone to the top 70, it's a lot harder for last minute movement. And my hypothesis right now is just that when you get higher up the board, the spread of points grows. Mm-hmm. Where if we were looking at the 125 cutoff, they have a lot fewer points. Mm-hmm. And so a tied 10th is like the best event of the year for some of them. And it moves them they can shoot way up inside. At 70, you got to kind of put together a pretty good season to get in that number. So
you're saying those last minute T8s are not worth enough because the guys that they're trying to pass have had much better seasons.
They got 4 T8s.
Got it.
That's my hypothesis. I want to look into it a little bit this week.
I think you might find that to be true. I think your hypothesis might be very true. The 2-shot gap comes next to a group of golfers in a tie for third at 20 under par. We're going to focus on Jake Knap here because obviously he had a great week, 64, 65, 67. He closed with a 68. And Greg, this was an interesting weekend for him. A very slow start on Saturday where he made 11 consecutive pars to start the third round before making 5 birdies coming in. And then this fourth round, he's 4 under through 12. You can see at the scorecard there. And, he's playing that stretch at the end, trying to figure out how much to bite off. How much do I want to make sure I don't finish in a 4-way tie for third? Do I want to try to get solo third? Like you could see the thought process going through his mind at times.
Yes, I think that's true. And it seemed like with Jake Knap over the weekend, he just wasn't hitting it quite close enough, often enough, compared to Kittyama. And the proximity numbers are apparent. He's outside of 25 feet on average both days. On Saturday, he was outside of 30 feet in his average proximity. In fact, he was 10 feet farther away from the hole on average than Kurt Kittyama. And in this in the final round, he averaged 27.9, which was, Kittyama was at like 21 most of the day until the last couple of holes. So, you're giving up a significant difference. It's hard to fill it up with birdies. One thing, Rick, I thought he only made 2 bogeys on the week, and one of them came on 18. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot to be said for bogey avoidance in the birdie fests. Because he gets to 20 under. You got 3 par 5s, and you got some other wedge opportunities as well. Like, if you could say there's like 4 really good scoring opportunities. You just get those, you get to 16 under without any other bogeys. You add in, you make a couple of long, like you can get to 20 under pretty quickly when you eliminate the mistakes. And I thought Jake Knap did a really good job of that. 18, he hit 8 iron from 212 or 215?
Yeah.
Kittyama was 220 and hit 5 iron. Yeah, it's a huge, and he wasn't that much past flag high. So I don't know. He must have been really counting on adrenaline. I think he just took the wrong club on that one. Maybe he was maybe he was thinking he had to hole it.
Still a great week. Still a great move. 55th to 47th. So he's in the top 50 right now. He's going to be in the playoffs. He's going to try to make a run as deep as he can. But Jake Knapp setting up to be in a lot of big events for next year. Speaking of which, so is Chris Gotterup. The hottest man on the planet outside of Scotty Scheffler finished T10 here. He had a problem with 18 this week, Greg. So Sunday hits it in the water, makes 5. Saturday doesn't hit it in the water and makes a bogey. On Friday, he hits it in the water and makes bogey. And on Thursday, he hits it in the water and makes par. So he hit 3 balls in the water on 18 this week, played it cumulatively at 2 over par, and finished 2 shots out of third, 4 shots out of second, 5 shots out of first.
There was a troll under the 3M sign that made him pay a tax. You're not getting through 18 without giving me a golf ball. So that was disappointing. Especially when you're a long hitter like he is, right? You're expecting him to take advantage of the par 5s and rip them up for the week, and he plays them 4 under par. And he's 2 over on 18. That's just it's a killer. But I will say I was very impressed with his wedge play on Saturday's round. He had, he struggles. If you look at his numbers on the season, he struggles in that 50 to 125 range. However you look at it, if it's 50 to 125 or 75 to 100, 100 to 125, anywhere in there, he's well outside the top 100. But in Saturday's round, he had 6 wedge shots from 100 yards. And he had 5 of them inside of 12 feet. Really, really good stuff with the wedges. And today was a totally different story. I mean, really poor wedge shots that just, they didn't get it done. He didn't give himself enough opportunities. And I think 18 could have solved some problems for him. But what I'll be paying attention to going forward as we get to know Chris Gotterup in his game is that wedge play. And when that's on, look out. But it is definitely a weakness.
Well, we might be getting a cramming study session on Chris Gotterup. We might be learning a lot about him. Seems like he's going to take the Wyndham Championship off. Okay. He is then going to tee it up in the FedEx Cup playoffs, where he's going to start in a pretty darn good position, because after this week, he's 20th. So he's going to start in a really good position. We're going to see how he does in the playoffs. And then depending on that, we might see how he does at the Ryder Cup, Greg. So this emergence, this breakout, whatever you want to call it, this learning experience, I think we're going to learn a lot more in the next month. And then if it does get to September, oh, mama, we're going to learn a lot more.
Where are you with Gotterup and the Ryder Cup?
Gotterup aside, if I were the captain of the Ryder Cup team or any team, I would basically reserve spot 12 for the hottest man. Call it the Billy Horschel rule, call it whatever you want, right? I just want the hottest man, not otherwise on my team, right? It's like qualifying for the Open. Top 5, not otherwise exempt. Hottest man, not otherwise on my team. And I think that he is definitely on the very, very short list of guys that would be the hottest going in. So as of right now, if it were me, if he doesn't stumble his way in and I can find a way to get him on this squad, I'm getting him on the squad. I think that he's got a very good skill set. I think he's going to be immensely popular at Bethpage. I think that he is still young and could be part of future U.S. teams. We'll find out, but I balk at the idea that this is a 12-round thing, Greg, because we have been watching him all year long, and he's been like a stroke per round player all year long. He was piling up top 20s before anybody knew his name. And now it's a really, really good 2025 right now. So I have him pretty high on my list of guys that I would have on my squad.
I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, at least since April, the beginning of the year was a little rough for him.
Sure.
So that's still a significant amount of time, right? It's clearly hotter than, it's clearly a hot streak, but I don't know if it's just a hot streak, if that makes sense. There's more to it than that. I think that's a really wise point. The other thing that I'm looking at in that question is you got Maverick McNeely at 11, misses the cut this week.
Yeah, he's gonna be the odd man out.
Brian Harman doesn't play. Andrew Novak, I don't think he played. I'm not sure if he played. If he did, he didn't do anything.
He did not play.
Cantlay did not play. Sam Burns, like 61st this week. Shot 3 over today. Disaster. Laid an egg on Thursday, like we talked about on Friday. Even though he played really nicely to make the cut, just gives me nothing over the weekend. It's like, well, if you're looking at this and none of those guys outside of Keegan Bradley, like 11 on, there's nobody that I have to have on this team.
Correct.
And that's why I think the Chris Gotterup conversation can even be entertained. And he'll move into a place where it would be worth entertaining anyway. But like, when you're outside the top 6, you got to go demand a pick.
Correct.
And I don't think anybody outside the top 10 has done that more so than Gotterup.
Yeah, like just floating around and finishing 11th in the Ryder Cup standings does not get you in the Ryder Cup, right? Like you have to show me something. It's got to be great play recently. It's got to be wins. It's got to be some chutzpah. It's got to be something, man.
Yeah, go, mix it up in a couple of majors. Go on a run in the playoffs. I'm totally with you. And yeah, the floating, I don't like it. I don't like any of it. So that leads you down 2 paths when you got guys like McNeely and Harman and Novak kind of, and let's say Keegan being the captain. Like, I think he wants to be on the team, but you don't know that. So at least the last 2 spots seem to be wide open. And now you got 2 options. I can go with, I guess it's 3. I can go with ranking points.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 2-year cycle for a reason. I don't particularly like that. You can go with the hottest player, like you just said. That would put Gotterup in the mix. And then the third option is you go with guys with experience. And that would bring in your Patrick Cantlays, your Sam Burns.
Yeah.
Even, why wouldn't it bring in Jordan Spieth at 26th?
Yeah.
I mean, he's way down the list, but there's been plenty of good play. There's been good play from him. The points haven't worked out for him, but if you're going to go experience, why not Spieth? So
here's just for time capsule sake. Here's my team right now as of July 27th. So the 6 auto qualifiers, fine with all these guys. Scotty, Xander, Spawn, Henley, DeChambeau, English. I then take JT, Morikawa, Keegan. Okay, I think we're good there. My final three are Cantlay, which I don't feel great about, but he has done more than enough in these and has Xander and all that fun stuff. So I'm going with Cantlay. And then I'm going with Ben Griffin and I'm going with Chris Gotterup. Those are my 12. And that means I'm leaving out McNeely and Harmon and Burns and Spieth and everybody else.
Yeah, I think that's probably where I would be if I had to do this today. Now, I believe that because Burns, Wyndham Clark, Spieth have some experience in a Ryder Cup, which may be an overrated aspect, but because they have some experience in a Ryder Cup, they have an opportunity in the playoffs to change my mind rather easily.
Sure.
Right.
And this will, my opinion, might change a lot in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah. Especially on Gotterup.
Yes.
I think it's a great move for him to take the Wyndham off.
Agreed.
This has, I'm sure, been a whirlwind. Get your rest. Get yourself together. I'm sure there are some things as well as he played this week that he'd like to straighten out. Get those things straightened out and go put yourself on this team. I think he's done that more than anybody else. And then the Cantlay pick, yeah, I mean, I don't love it, but I like it more than what we had. I like it more than McNeely, Harmon, Novak, Burns, Clark. I like it more than Spieth.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do? Are you really going to leave Patrick Cantlay off this team? 14th in points. Him and Xander are the only people who have earned alternate shot points for the U.S. in quite some time. What are we supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't want to separate that team,
right?
Unless there's somebody that I need to have there.
I think I
can play with other people. But.
Of course he can, but why? But it's close enough to just give him the nod. The thing that I think the biggest changes that I think could happen for me are, I could remove Gotterup from this team, and if I do not need to see much out of Jordan Spieth to get him on this team, in my opinion.
I like it. I like the way he's played a lot this year.
Me too. I just need to see go get in the mix a couple times and I'll get you there, big boy.
There are some guys on this list that you, if you're captaining, you want them to be on the team. I want to have Spieth there. What's also fascinating is that is the quote unquote cliche boys club that we're talking about.
Which Keegan should be the anti-boys club.
Yes. But now he's in this position. Is he anti-boys club for being anti-boys club? Or does he realize why there's a boys club?
Is this the scenario of you die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain? You either die out of the boys club or you live long enough to be in the boys club.
Yeah, that might be it. It's very clear. This isn't like a friendship thing. I got clear data that Patrick Cantlay plays great with Xander Schauffele, and I got clear data that Jordan Spieth is one of the best team golfers that we have in the Ryder Cup in the U.S. over the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. And is playing well. Really look at his numbers. He's playing well. So I just think it's a fascinating thing to watch. The hardest part is that the guys that are not in the boys club, Gotterup being the exception, who was just so far down the list. It's like he just became a topic.
Right.
The guys that are not in the boys club that Keegan may want to give a chance haven't done what Keegan did 2 years ago. This is heading to a lot of boys club members on this team.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, it wasn't all sunshine and unicorns in the final round around TPC Twin Cities. Our final group, Greg, we have not talked about a single player who was in that final pairing on Sunday because Thorbjorn Olesen and Akshay Bhatia combined to shoot 6 over. Let's start with Thorbjorn a 73 in which it just never went right. Just bogeys. 4, he turns in 37. What happened? What happened here?
Well, the crazy thing is he drove it beautifully, which if we were going to knock him at all on Saturday, he had a couple tee shots to the right on the front 9, maybe through the first 12 holes. He had hit like 5 tee shots to the right. He hit 13 of 14 fairways today. He was second in strokes gained off the tee. And the guy that was absolutely flushing laser beams at the flag for the first 3 days, the guy that made a hole in one, the guy that was 7 under par on the par 3s in rounds 2 and 3, just could not hit it close to the flag at all. You know, I mentioned that Kurt Kittyama was through 15 holes, 16 holes. His proximity was in the neighborhood of 21 feet on average. It was 38 feet for Thorbjorn Olesen. And it's just, you can't afford any mistakes if you're going to hit it far away like that. You know, you got to be bogey free and then take care of par 5s. He didn't do any of that. He didn't take care of, he made 2 birdies, both on par 5s and 4 bogeys.
I thought Saturday was a little hairy. So he if you remember, him and Jake Knap were in the final group, and they both started out with 5 or 6 straight pars.
Yes.
And the leaderboard, everyone was flying by them. Just everyone. He makes birdie on 6, the par 5, and then he makes the ace. Now, aces are good shots, obviously, but there is a luck factor for that to drop. And I think that masked a little bit of the not necessarily great play that was happening from Thorbjorn, because he immediately bogeys 9 and then pars the next 3. Now he salvages this thing late to stay in the final group, but I think that 67 was a little bit propped up with sticks and air. And then I think we just saw more of it on Sunday, and it just was 않enough sloppiness to shoot. Let's see. He shot on the weekend 140. Kurt Kittyama beat him by 15 shots on the weekend.
Yeah, 2 under on the weekend. Right, if you put that on Thursday and Friday, it misses the cut.
Yes,
by quite a ways. And he's not the only player that did that over the weekend. So it's understandable. It's tough. Heavy lies the crown, as they say. When you get yourself in the mix in these things, it's a very challenging place to play from. So I understand it. It's not the first time we've ever seen this, Rick. And it will not be the last.
No.
This is the kind of thing that happens on. This is why, like, Mark's texting us anything's possible on the PGA Tour. It's because it's these positions, the guys that are really close to the lead are there. There's a lot of burden. They have a lot more to lose, or at least it's perceived that way.
Indeed. Now, unfortunately, if you thought the 73 from Thorbjorn was bad, the 75 from Akshay was even worse, because Akshay started the day as the 54-hole leader, and that did not last very long. Bogey on 1, bogey on 3, bogey on 4, which this was just like left miss off the tee, left miss off the tee, left miss off the tee into the penalty area, and it didn't get much better after that. He was out of this thing immediately.
Yes. He didn't hit his first fairway until number 7. Hit another one at 9, which was great, but only hit 2 fairways on the front 9. And it looked to me, Rick, like it kind of, now look, he's, when he gets off to that start, he's kind of removed from the broadcast.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not watching a lot of Akshay Bhatia. That being said, I was following the shots he was hitting, and it felt to me like the swing, he's a little timid with the swing because of what's going on with the driver, and it crept into his iron play, which has been really quite good, quite impressive for the last 4 or 5 weeks out on the PGA Tour. He's been hitting it really well, and all of a sudden everything everything in his game fell apart today. And I think that's just a loss of confidence for a normally very accurate driver of the ball.
Yes. And it was, he had been very candid about this year not going well for him. Do you think that the pressure of trying to turn your season around in one day, right? Your season goes from, I don't want to call it a failure, but like a below average year turns into a successful year if you go out and have a good day today. And maybe that was a little too much.
It could be, but I think you got to really look at why is it an unsuccessful year? Like, why are you in that place before this opportunity? And if you do any studying or reading on, how to perform under pressure, so much of it has to do with what happens before you're in a pressure situation. Almost all, like I read this book called The Pressure Principle, which actually it mentions golf quite a bit, and other sports by a guy named Dr. David Allred. And what amazed me about it is I was looking for, what should you be doing on the back nine on Sunday? And what he's saying is, what are you doing in October on a week off? Right. That you perform on Sunday, on the back nine on Sunday, because of what you did in the off season to get ready for the season, to get into the moment that matters. So if the pressure is elevated and his game is not in a place where it's able to handle it, you get a score like this. Magnifies things. If he wasn't in the final group, or if he reversed his scores for the week and shot 75, 63, 66, 66, we're looking at this top 25 from a totally different perspective. So yeah, I think pressure is a part of it, but it comes because he's disappointed for a reason.
Let's zoom out on this leaderboard, Mina. We've got it here. It is Kurt Kittyama's second career victory. He gets the trophy next to his name. A one-shot victory over Sam Stevens. There were some other pretty interesting results here on the first page. Takumi Kanaya, 7-time winner on the Japanese tour, 54 weeks at amateur #1 in the world. He had a top 10. William Mao won the ISCO, an opposite field event, a couple weeks ago. He played well again. This or anything else, Greg, that we need to talk about before we review the grid for the week?
I would just William Mao. His name stands out to me because until, what was it, 3 weeks ago when he won the ISCO, that was opposite the Scottish. Is that right?
That is correct.
Up until 3 weeks ago, what I thought of when I heard the name William Mao was making a 13 on 16 at the American Express.
Out of the big bunker,
like a total disaster situation. And I hate to see that when that's the only thing, like I remember Kevin Na made a 16 one time. He was an established player. Like you knew who Kevin Na was. He had won on tour before. That's like golf is hard. When it's William Mao, who you've never heard of, that's the only thing that you know about him. And I'm just so happy to see that he, first of all, won. So now you think of him as a PGA Tour winner and now performs like this. You get to watch him a little bit. He's a fun competitor to watch. Some real intensity to it. He was believing today. So I really enjoyed watching William Mao play. And my perspective on him has fortunately gone 180.
A lot of emotion. It was cool to see
out
there. Well, he's a winner. Unfortunately, we are not so much. The grid is very, very red. You got us the matchup victory with Sam Burns over Maverick McNeely, a true pillow fight there, but green is green. And you got close but no cigar with Jake Knap, but they don't pay out on close, Greg.
They don't pay out on close. I was glad to see Johnny Vegas make the cut. I was very hopeful. So he was at 5 under through 2 rounds. That was at the time only like 3 shots out of top 20. It's like, oh, we can do this over the weekend, Johnny. And it just never materialized, unfortunately. Jake Knapp, we had a chance all the way. I was feeling really good about Jake Knapp until he missed the birdie putt on 16. That's when I kind of said, it's not happening. Not happening today. Because 17 was so tough. I knew he wasn't going to make a birdie there. And then he's 3 back when he hits his second shot on 18. So, it was close to being a really strong grid, at least for me. And now it's like the one win I had is a guy that finishes 61st.
Well, I had Akshay Bhatia in a matchup over Wyndham Clark. Akshay Bhatia led the golf tournament through 54 holes, had a 7-shot swing on Sunday to Wyndham Clark and ended up losing that one. So golf is hard. Golf is weird.
Hard. It's hard.
Couple items for next week. Somebody in the chat asked, the Wyndham field is like the strongest in its history, which is great. So we're going to get a strong field next week. We are going to do Tuesday, Friday, Sunday. Now, Greg, I will tell you, tomorrow afternoon, Armina and I are flying to Nashville to play our much anticipated rounds of golf with John Daly.
Yes.
Do you have any tips for me to impress Big John? Should I play barefoot? Should I try to swing like he does? What should I do?
Well, you could start smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
Please do not do that.
Greg is recommending that everyone out there start smoking cigarettes.
You know what you could do is try to hit it by him. So, right, swing as hard as you possibly can. Of course, I'm kidding. There is nothing you can do, Rick, to impress John Daly with your golf game.
I don't think there's anything I could do to impress him at all, golf game or not.
Well, he could really like you.
Oh.
Go be you. He could be like, wow, I really like Rick Gehman. That was really fun. He's a cool guy.
Wow.
I'm impressed.
Wow. Okay. That would be cool if he said that.
He could. You never know. Don't worry about the golf game. That's all that I'm saying. He's seen far worse, and he's seen levels of play that you can never dream of reaching. There is not a shot you're going to hit where he says, this guy could maybe make it,
or this guy sucks.
He's not going to say that either.
Right. Exactly.
He's played pro-ams his whole life.
That makes me feel better, because if I chunk a chip or something, he has seen that a billion times.
Maybe he gives you a tip.
Okay.
Right. He has seen worse. So just remember that. You are the difference between Tiger Woods in his prime and you right now is the difference between the best player he's seen, the best golf he's seen, and you. You're not going to make any kind of. There's no club selection. There's nothing you could do to close that gap.
Okay.
And the difference between you and the worst golf that he's ever seen is unimaginable. Maybe bigger. Probably not.
I might call you as I'm driving over there just to get this other additional pep talk. Yeah. This is nice. I like this.
So you go have fun. Go hit some shots and talk with Long John Daly. It's going to be a fun, memorable experience. Don't ruin it by worrying about your golf game. Wow.
Dr. Greg Head strikes again. That is why you are just the best. All right. That makes me feel a lot better. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. We'll obviously post some stuff. I'm looking forward to next week. We're going to find out who gets into the playoffs. It's another strong field. It's going to be great.
I can't wait. I also saw on Twitter, Rick, you posted something about Twix.
Dude,
hey, you got some reviews. I got that box too, and I have some thoughts.
Okay. Do you want to say them now?
I don't know. I don't know if you want to do it now or if you want to do it Tuesday. But it was on my mind today.
It's up to you. We can do it now or we can do it Tuesday.
Well, I'll say this at least. Okay. We'll see where it goes.
Okay.
I might be way off on the original flavors only concept.
because you, first off, that is the most jarring thing I've ever heard you say. And okay, yeah. So if you guys didn't see this, that I tweeted it out. There's like 8 different flavors in this box. Okay, there's snickerdoodle, there is salted caramel, there is cookies and cream. There's a variety. So
Cookie dough.
So you're telling me that you've dabbled and you think the original might not be the best.
Now, here's the kicker with this. I have not had an original from this box yet.
Okay.
Right. I mean, look, how many candy bars, I mean, how many cookie bars can I eat in a day?
Cookie bars.
And it's not many, like 2 tops. So, we got these things half opened in there, and I'm trying them, and I'm impressed every time. I haven't had the original to compare it to, but the cookie dough, the cookies and cream, rather,
the cookies
is fantastic. And the salted caramel might be even better.
The salted caramel has it's like a delayed release. It's like you don't get it right away. You get it about 2 seconds later, and it hits you. It hits you.
It's good. I always thought that Twix had 2 flavors. Like there was the gold wrapper original and the red wrapper, which was peanut butter. There's not even a peanut butter in the box down there, and I'm not even missing it.
No.
So I'm very impressed and much more willing to go reach when it comes to these kind of things.
Thank you, Twix. You have literally broadened Greg's horizons just by cookie bars. Is all it took. Cookie bars.
Just a couple cookie bars.
Just a couple cookie bars.
Yeah,
it's not that bad. All right, we'll get Mark's take on Tuesday because there are still a couple I haven't tried yet, but trust me, that box will be gone soon. That's the problem. I can eat way more than 2. I can eat more than 2 cookie bars a day, Greg. Okay.
Well, I'm about to have one right after this.
All right, me too. All right, that'll do it for this show. We will be back on Tuesday. Wyndham Championship. Big thanks, producer Mina. That's Greg DuCharme. I'm Rick Gehman. This is The Second Cut. We'll catch you next time.